initial thoughts on the game coming up on Tuesday?
Exciting game last night. If you're, a sports fan, I guess. I mean, maybe some of the soccer purists were saying, the defending wasn't great. But, interesting couple-hour watch. LAFC was, I would have said the slight favorite before the game. And, having the home playoff game certainly is an advantage. We know that. So, good for them. What we learned from watching and going back, watching a couple of the other games as of late, is that, they are vulnerable in certain areas. And so we'll, do our homework. Gonzo and Jimmy, we're all watching the tape already. We'll get a couple of good training days here and, go down there prepared to go and try and win.
It's been so long since you guys have seen it in person. Are they drastically different from what you saw in April?
Well, yeah, because my memory's bad. I mean, those back-to-back games, whatever they were early in the year, obviously down there we didn't play so well. Up here we had Christian thrown off in the 18th minute, but the mental resolve to get a point out of that game certainly, was good. But yeah, those games were a long time ago. We'll use the updated film of their last few games and, see what we can take from it.
How different are you guys as a team compared to when you played them back to back? I know personnel-wise you've changed a few guys out, but
I mean, yeah, again, Jeff, it's a good question. I mean, I'd have to go back and look at my notes and the lineups and that 4-1 game. Just what did we do wrong? How do we keep them from, using their crowd, a fast start to, let them control tempo of the game versus the game here. We were a little upset, try to prove something. That game was billed as a couple of teams on good starts. They obviously had a good start. We had a good start. So I'll go back and search that. But as far as our team is concerned now, I think we've gone through a pretty challenging year. And I think there's, a lot of things to be said about having those moments of adversity to make your team a little tougher, a little stronger, a little more mentally ready to go down to a place that's, that is going to be a challenge.
You've had to play some tough teams these last couple of years in the playoffs. Toronto in 2017 especially was having a really good year. But this LAFC team, I mean, is it as tough of a challenge as you guys have had in the playoffs in a knockout game like this on the road?
Well, yeah, based on statistics, I mean, their record was better than Toronto. We never played New York City, who then beat their record, and now it's LAFC's record for the most points in our league. But, look, they're a tremendously talented team. You saw their attacking movements last night. They were great. But that doesn't mean that Minnesota can't go down there and beat them. Toronto, you mentioned, went down there and drew 1-1. There's parity in MLS, so on any given day, RSL last year, things can happen. So we're not afraid of them. But we'll just have to make sure we're playing at a high level to make sure that we give ourselves the best chance at winning.
You've talked about how you use your own team's film to think about what other teams might do to beat you. When you watch your own film from the Dallas game and the RSL game, what have you seen tactically that LAFC might do to try to win that game on Tuesday, and then how do you combat that?
Well, Bob made a small mention at halftime or in one of his interviews that, they were allowing LA Galaxy to have possession. They were hitting them on the counter. Does he think like that? Does he look at our team and say, okay, let's give them, because their outside backs go high up the field? Is he going to try that? Who's to say? I mean, I don't know what his tactics are going to be. I know I'll take a deep dive into what his team does well, what his team is exposed at, which areas of the field, because they like to take some risks. I mean, they like to, they press high and leave 2 for 2 at the back sometimes. So we'll come up with some strategies there to see if we can take advantage of them.
If you look at the games they struggled, they only lost, I guess, 4 or 5 games this year, including the Open Cup. Most of those games have been games where they were allowed to have a lot of possession and kind of got stuck against a bunker team and weren't able to break that bunker. Is that something you see and you're maybe tempted to replicate, or would you rather go out here and play kind of your game?
Well, I said that against RSL that we were going to come out and try and dictate possession, and it didn't work. They did. So whatever my game plan will be, whatever our game plan will be, it has a chance to be successful or fail. At the end of the day, the players out on the field have to make adjustments in the game. We could train all week long and say, yeah, let's absorb some pressure and get, Jordan against Zimmerman. We like that matchup. Or, we could devise some tactics like that. At the end of the day, I don't want to cut out the best parts of my team just for them. I still have confidence that what we do well can be effective against anybody. So we'll take a long look at it, Jeremiah, and come up with some small little tweaks and see if we can't upset their balance a little bit.
How much does experience of yourself and your team being part of the playoffs take a factor in your benefit?
I think it's. I mean, look, all the teams have some experience, playoff experience. Ours certainly will help us in these moments. The loss down there will help us because we'll revisit that if we need to and learn from it. I just think that our team has a right balance of some youth and some experience, and we'll need it.
Roman Torres came off with a hamstring injury. Is there any update status on that?
That'll be day to day. We took him off as a precaution, and we'll see.
Ladero had another big performance in the playoffs against RSL. Can you talk about his impact on the field and in the locker room?
Yeah. He's been a massive part of our club since 2016. And you listen to his comments after the games and, listening to him on the field with his teammates, he carries a lot of weight around this organization. So we're happy to have him. And, Gustav's goal, one of the guys that, hadn't gotten a lot of credit, in some articles, but, scored the goal. Gustav couldn't have scored that goal without Nico. And, Nico couldn't have scored that goal if Gustav wouldn't have made that movement to the near post. So I love the fact that I got some talented, experienced guys to help us in these situations to get on top of teams.
Over the last month, you've won in games in a bunch of different ways, from late winners to shootouts like Dallas, to grinding out 1-0 wins. How has that helped your team grow mentally with their mental strength and confidence that no matter what happens after the first half, we can get a win out of this?
I don't know, Jackson. I don't know if that's a plus or a minus. I don't know. It shows that the team has character. I mean, I say this all the time. The team never quits. But certainly in some of the games, the Galaxy game that we won 4-3, I didn't like that. The Dallas game we drew at home in the regular season, I didn't like that. So there were some things about being up and down that we weren't, totally happy with. But the one common denominator, one common thread in all those games is that the team just doesn't quit. They don't stop trying to figure out ways how to win, even under adverse situations.
How does your approach change, or does it change at all, for a sudden death road playoff game? Because you haven't had one of these since the MLS Cup 2 years ago. So what do you come out cautiously, or do you just treat it like a one shot?
We're gonna treat it, Jeff, like a one shot. We need to win the game to get into the final. We can't play for a draw. That's out the window. So the smaller tactics that you guys asked about earlier, how do we start? How do we play? How do we set the team up? Some of those things we'll certainly address. But we, have had with the new format, 2 games where we can't play for a draw, against Dallas and RSL. So I think the competition format makes us just go out to win.
Do you use the chip on your shoulder mentality when it comes to facing the team with the highest points, the team with the highest goal scorer in the league?
No. There's no chip on our shoulder. We think we can hang with them.
Carlos is about as impactful of a DP we've seen come into the league. Is there one thing that stands out to you that allows him to have such an impact on the games that he plays in?
I think there's too many things that he does well on a soccer field to just mention one or two. I mean, he is a tremendously talented player. And, combine him with, some of the other pieces that they have makes him a very effective attacking team.
You guys have had plenty of games the last couple of years where you're the favorites in the playoffs. Everybody from the outside kind of assumed you would move on as a higher seed. And there have been a couple games where it was kind of the opposite. It's a motivational tactic Do you prefer one way or the other, being the favorite or the perceived underdog going into a game
everybody, you know, all coaches will tell you it's easier to be the underdog. I mean, you can just say, oh, nobody expects you to win. The media expects you to lose. I mean, Magic Johnson, you know, all that hoopla. Let's play the underdog role. I mean, that's easy to coach. But again, in these situations, I mean, that's kind of old and tired. You need to come up with something else. The guys already will feel like, okay, yeah, let's go. Maybe the players, you have to ask them if they have a chip on their shoulder. Maybe that's the right question to the right people. But for us, no, we'll take it as, okay, yeah, there might be some people that think that everybody's anointed LAFC, but that'll be the extent of it.
What worries you the most about the cohesiveness that LA displayed last night on the attacking front? Sorry to make.
Well, they were dangerous in their transition moments. You know, obviously the controversy whether the goal was offside or not, it was still a pretty well manufactured goal. So they are very good at coming out in the break. We will have to be aware of that, but that's one of the things that we've been, you know, it's in our culture is active defending. I think we do a good job of it. I think we do a better job of it than the Galaxy. So when we possess the ball in their half of the field, if they allow us to have possession in their half of the field, great. We'll try and make sure that our defending is our defenders are in the right areas of the field to make sure we prevent some of those transition moments. But they were very effective.
Now, with that being said, sir, I know soccer is a technical game, but what about the momentum of your team? How do you feel about the arc of your team? Are we in our stride right now? How are we playing right now?
Yeah, right now, after a couple of hard-fought playoff games, team feels really good, real confident. So, you know, I had talked about the struggles we had. We were a little too up and down for my liking. You know, we didn't have a 9-game winning streak like we did last year or stuff like that. So getting through that little bit of adversity, which is normal in MLS, and winning a couple games now in a row certainly helps the squad.
How important is it going to be to take the crowd out of the game early on?
They won't go out of the game. No chance. Even if they go down, that crowd will stay in it, much like ours. You know, our crowd, you know, when Dallas scored a goal, our fans actually got louder. So it's the same. The LAFC crowd is a good crowd, and they won't stop supporting their squad.
How does that rate as a hostile place to play compared to some other places you've been?
There's lots of hostile environments. In Portland, our rival, I mean, has one of the best. So it's certainly a success story for LA. You know, because the atmosphere is really, really good.
Does the weather conditions play a factor at all going
No.
from rain
It'll be
to
nice.
sun?
No. It'll be nice.